Hi friends, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting and Above AVL. And in this video, we're going to talk about how do we actually mount Christmas lights to our house? What are some of the most common methods we use? And how do you figure out what the best thing is going to be for you? Now, obviously, when it comes to an animated Christmas light display, there's two really big factors that determine how you're going to stick this stuff on your house. Number one is what's your house made of? Number two is what are you hanging, right? And so let's dive into that. Unlike a traditional Christmas light show where somebody just has regular incandescent lights that you may, wrap around garlands, hang off your gutters with gutter clips from the hardware store. And when you get into the Christmas light hobby, things tend to be a little different, right? We have things like Coro props, right? Where we've got corrugated plastic and it's got our lights in it, and then we've got this prop that we're either going to stick in our yard or we're going to hang or do something like that with. Or maybe we've got stuff in strips. This is the mega tree strip with our NBG pixels in it, but it could also be like the horizontal strips that also exist out there that can be super helpful as well, not only for roof lines but also for things like windows and stuff like that. So what do you do? Last but not least, you may have, some other kind of pixel. What do you do to get the stuff on your house? That's going to be the biggest question. And I think the reason a lot of people come here and we get this question is because you don't want to damage your house. You don't want to permanently deface it too badly, but you want to be able to have something that's going to be secure, that's going to work well, not be a lot of fuss, and work well for you. So how do you do that? I've got a couple tips that I think have worked really well for me. So my current house is a brick house. And on a brick house, there's not really any good way to hang things off of bricks. Like technically on the market, there's these thing called brick clips. They do have to fit your specific brick exactly. And even then people have, relatively differing opinions on whether they actually work or not. So at my current house, we primarily hang things off the gutters or off the roof right now. Even something like a Coro prop like this generally has some holes in it, some extra holes for hanging. I pop a zip tie through there, boom, pick it up in the back with a S hook and hang that off my gutter. Could hang it off the gutter with string and it gets lower. And that's going to be the ability there. When it comes to my window frames, of course, most brick houses are this way, that your window frame is going to have wood that's accessible to be able to pop a screw into if you want. So my window frames are hung with a screw. But, for years and years, and on my past house, which was a siding house, I used a lot of different clips that can work different ways. And so what I did was I went to SFL Designs and I bought their clip packs, their demo packs that they have, and got them here. So this isn't sponsored or anything. Jason's a nice guy who owns SFL Designs, but I bought the stuff because I think if you want to do more stuff, like we got rid of the bushes this year and we're going to do more stuff on our house, then you're going to need a way to hang your lights. And a lot of these clips give you really good options to do so. So the way this starts is that, a lot of props, even if you're hanging corrugated props, from a portion of your house while smacking yourself in the head with pixels, a lot of props, or if you're doing straight lines of lights, are going to be hung on either PVC or EMT pipe. Now, I'm a big fan of EMT rather, ENT, that's the doctor, EMT, because you can go further between supports. And even if you support it well, good old white PVC pipe does tend to look droopy, even if it's supported every like 4 feet or so. Clips like these can do a great job, and there's a lot of varieties out there that will work really well. Over at SFL Designs, I was just looking at the stuff and buying these clips. They've kind of got two different types of clips. First of all, we've got clips here that are completely intrusion free. You're not going to have to drill into your house. So this is a clip, the conduit, the EMT conduit would snap in here, and it's a gutter clip. Pretty stinking cool. Here's another style of gutter clip, okay? I think it's because I ordered 2 packs. They look like they're the same thing. Then I've got a clip that I believe is for siding, a couple siding type clips, multiple of those that are able to actually hang off of siding and hang if your siding's installed right. A decent amount of weight, usually like 30 pounds or something at the most, okay? Then we get into, honestly, like if you're doing this long term, This is what I would recommend the most are clips that are actually going to screw into your house. So here's one, for example, and these ones have screw holes in them, and some of them even have an offset, which I love a lot because even if you're using our NBG pixels, which I love, right? They have the flat back to them, and so the wires aren't coming straight out the back. But there is still a little wire in most props that you've got to deal with on the back that's hanging out behind the prop. But now, if I'm hanging the prop off of a piece of conduit off of the house and I use this clip, I've now got all the space I need so that the wires aren't smacking against the house and it's tough to get it into position. That's the biggest thing. It doesn't matter if the wires touch the house, but if the clips are so close, like previously I've done these style, and these can work where it's just a clip that just pops right on the house like this. They can work, but if you have wires sticking out beyond the back of the pipe, then it's not going to snap in and you're not going to be able to hang it. That's where these offset ones I think are really stinking cool. Yeah, ultimately, when it comes down to it, whether you are a siding person, whether you are a brick person, a stucco person, I think if you're doing this long term, you may want to consider getting some clips that can just be permanently mounted to your house and blend in. For example, the SFL Designs ones are all 3D printed. They're fairly rough, but you could probably hit them with some quick sandpaper and you could paint them in a color to match your house so that year round it really doesn't look like much. I can tell you that I had some white and some clear clips on my last house. When we went to sell it, I left them up. Nobody said anything. In terms of waterproofing, if you were screwing into your house, and I'm not a professional contractor, but if you're screwing into your house, in general, if everything's tight, you're not going to have water heading into the house. However, if you go ahead, pre-drill the hole, pop in a little silicone caulk, and then drop your screw in, you're typically going to have a great amount of protection there and be good for years to come. That's about it. Clips are cool. Clips are fun. And I think once you try them, you'll probably never go back because the biggest issues that I see and the biggest issues that I've had in the past is just that, okay, if you're not using something that's clipping the EMT, if you're hanging things off screws, if you're hanging things, some other way, there's a chance that wind is going to come by and knock that stuff down. And I think I've seen that with pretty much every type of hanging except these type of clips. Now, if you're purchasing them, you want to make sure wherever you buy them from is using a good quality UV protected plastic. If you go buy ones off Amazon or a few other places that I've seen, they make the clear ones and they're not really UV protected. And then after 1 year, they break. You don't want that. I definitely see how these 3D printed ones are a lot thicker. Hopefully will last a lot longer, but like anything, I'm here to be a guinea pig for you guys, see how these things last over the long haul. If you're just starting out with Christmas lighting, then head over to learnchristmaslighting.com. We want to get into your hands a free guide, the 4 things I really wish I knew before I began with Christmas lighting. Grab that there and at the link below. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.